Welcome back to Perp Plays, a video series where we go behind the scenes of some of your favourite games. In this edition, we're taking a closer look at Zoink Games' first foray into virtual reality, the heartwarming puzzle adventure, Ghost Giant. Please be aware, if you've yet to finish Ghost Giant, there may be some spoilers in the action happening on screen and in the audio commentary. Enjoy.
Hi guys, this is Olov Redmalm. I'm the creative director of Ghost Giant, or at least I used to be before it was completed and released. And I thought I'd talk a bit about the game. So yeah, here it is, the beginning, with our first encounter with Louis and the Ghost Giant. Whoa. Yeah. So I remember the first time Klaus, our CEO and creative monkey, told me about this idea, and he just, he was just so nerded out and happy about having discovered VR and the possibilities of VR, and he had this idea about being a giant ghost and who guides this little kid through his daily life. And the original scene, this scene, was meant to be actually at the coast, stormy weather, and I think Louis here, he was bullied and like hunted by the bullies, and he got pushed down into the river, and there would be an underwater scene where the Ghost Giant first appears and picks him up and lifts him up, but we ended up with this scene instead, which is much calmer and solemn, and it ties back into the ending later on. Also it was so much easier to make. And so that all changed as soon as Sara B Elfgren, the writer of Ghost Giant, jumped on board and looked at our synopsis and made her own version of it and added some extra depth to it. So in this level we wanted to try to keep the tutorials to a minimum, just to make you, just as the player, just as confused as Louis, and like Ghost Giant is basically you're a newborn child here, basically, almost, you're just trying to calm him down, or what do I know? Maybe you're trying to kill him, but hopefully you're not. But you're meant to try to help him anyway, and we just wanted to, with this tree, we just wanted to capture the feeling of the Ghost Giant being too big to, just the Ghost Giant clumsily trying to help with his super strength, and just ends up making things worse. But he learns, of course, along the way. And that tree was there was a lot of tweaking and testing. Katarina Wunder, one of the programmers and level designers on the game, worked really hard to make that tree feel really nice and satisfying when you try to push it up. But it was, of course, in the old it was hard to. We just had to keep it within the tracking range and everything. You help Louis up here, of course.
You're fine.
And it was a lot of discussions and difficulty trying to figure out how do we explain the rules to the player. Like, for instance, when you end up in these scenes, these almost cut scenes, you can't interact with items around the world as you noticed. You can't interact with a live boy and is that the right pronunciation? Anyway,
I wonder what Maurice is doing now.
But we still wanted to make sure that the player doesn't throw giant rocks and chairs at Louis while he's having a heartfelt moment. And we weren't. It was pretty hard to. We didn't have much reference material to compare ourselves with, and we just had to trust our own judgment, and I think it worked out pretty fine. And then people, here comes my pizza. See you after the break. Such a great pizza, and so not worth it. I'm back, and where was I? The cutscenes, sort of. The players is in the center of everything, and in most scenes there are lots and lots of people talking at the same time, and we wanted a way to help the player focus on what's important, or like whenever we have a big story beat happening, we needed to find a way that wasn't too intrusive, didn't take the play. Obviously, you can't steal the camera away and doing flashy camera angles like you do in a regular game. So we came up with this little, this system where we dim down all the assets around where Louis is standing. That was like the focal point, where the action is happening, and we made it feel like we tried to make it feel like a stage, and the lights are dimmed, and there was also. There were many cases where we felt like the cutscenes were like so-called cutscenes were a bit too long, and then we tried to. Make them. How do we make them exciting and still, for those who are in a hurry and are impatient, we try to just make sure that it was presented in an interesting way, like lifting the floor underneath the floor that Louis is standing on, for instance, while he's talking to someone. So he's raised into eye level with the player. And this is the first moment where you really gain Louis' trust. So he's starting to realize you're not all bad. And in comes Lafèvre. And of course here he asks you to hide, which of course actually behind the scenes doesn't work. You can't hide. There's no way you can successfully hide, but we thought it would be fun to stress the player a little bit. And here there was actually a rewrite where Lafèvre reacts to the ghost giant, or like pretends to react to the ghost giant. Is just joking with Louis, and she doesn't see ghosts like Louis, crazy little kid. That was one of the rewrites we added pretty late on to make the player feel more part of the conversation and more engaged, to make it more interesting. And those kind of rewrites were the trickiest, especially those scenes that look kind of unique. These group animations where those are all unique animations, so it's kind of tricky to try to refit them to the new dialogue. And here we have another one of these really intimate moments. And it's one of my favorite moments when you actually have to move closer for the game to progress. And just little things like this to keep the player engaged and part of the story. Louis is your connection to the world, after all. No one else can see the ghost giant.
Maybe I lost it by the lake.
All the amazing art. The environment art is actually made by most environment art is made by just one guy called Leo Brynjelsson. If you look for Leo and Ghost Giant, you'll probably find his art station. Gorgeous stuff. He's a great painter too. You can tell that in the scenery. Which usually he and I would work with sketches back and forth, and I'd give him a hard time poking at his compositions and stuff. Sorry, Leo, if you're listening to this. Here's the first real tutorial level where we decided to put all the technical stuff. You've gotten a chance to get to know the game yourself, and here we just want to confirm that you've learned everything and add some new interesting details like blowing wind on stuff. These little puzzles, which was one of the riskier things. We were really a little caterpillar. The collectibles. Have to poke that one. The wind puzzle were one of the most uncertain ones, since it catches, it listens for sound. Whenever you're close to a sound zone, or what we used to call a blow zone internally, no pun intended, is where when you get close to one, the mic is activated, and whatever sound comes out of your mouth is the ghost giant blowing wind, and we were really uncertain how that would work, but apparently people really appreciate that. Here's the first time Sorry, I have a little a slight flu, and yeah, this is the first time the Ghost Giant and Louis have this what we call a buddy moment. I think we just skipped that, but yeah, Sebastian Strand, the producer and lead programmer of Ghost Giant, came up with a system for how we could. We wanted to add, because there's a lot of linear storytelling in the game. We wanted to add like an extra organic touch to the storytelling in the way that the Ghost Giant can wave at Louis and poke him for hints, and if the Ghost Giant waves at Louis, Sebastian made that work. so Louis recognizes that you're waving at him, and you can, and if you clench your fist, he understands that you want a fist bump. If you just raise your hand at him, he understands you want to give him a high five. And you can also do a hidden secret handshake that he teaches you there earlier in the game. You get an achievement if you pull that one off later again. So that added a lot of organic feeling to the game. So we don't always have these scripted events. Yeah. And of course, we talked a lot about how we wanted to make, how much of a sandbox game we wanted to make, and how much of a powerful story we wanted to make. And we wanted to find the perfect mix of the two, so we can still tell a very important story while still not taking too much freedom from the player. Just come up with fun, creative puzzles and hidden goodies. Yeah. And and we had a lot of, the whole game is designed to look like a diorama or like a little cardbox world you could have built as a kid. Of course, this is a very talented kid who have built and painted this world, if that is the case. We have these houses that we wanted to have these houses which you can rotate and open, and open walls and just really indulge in voyeurism. Yeah. So these of course one of the trickiest parts. Yeah, the trickiest part is always to just how do you know that the player will get all of these puzzles? We wanted to make them far-fetched and fun, but not in the way that it's frustrating. And we learned as we went along. These were one of the earlier levels, the Ghost Artist one with the painting. It's fairly simple, gather the colors and just come up with fun sources of color and make them glow. And and the harbor here, yeah. This is one of the prettiest levels, and I love the soundtrack of this one as well. This is I guess the most sandboxy and fiddly, like the most iconic Ghost Giant level, I would say, one of them at least, where you just gather all these different cogwheels. It's you search for the puzzle bits, put them into the crane, fiddle with the crane. We wanted to make this level feel like this very cozy. Toy town that you could have played with as a kid. This poor little penguin that you forced into the water was tricky because it was actually a surprisingly tricky puzzle. There was a lot of back and forth with that one because we wanted to. We had this rule set up early on that you can't pick up characters, you can't throw them away. It's just how it is. The Ghost Giant is not evil. That would have been a fun sequel, the Evil Ghost Giant or something like that. We joked a lot about that. But no, you're not supposed to throw the characters away. So we. The penguin there, you were supposed to push her into the water, but then we break the logic. So instead we added that nail that you had to remove from the plank she's standing on to get her into the water so she can pick up the cogwheel that's hidden under there so you can put it in the crane. And also, yeah, Mr. Cory Pika, one of my favorite characters, the Master Thief. And he's a returning character, played by Edwin Tiong. I hope that's correctly pronounced. Yeah, and he was tricky too. The other puzzle was tricky too, especially with the animations and how you find this pearl. You take this pearl from the clam over there. You extend it to Cory Pika to distract him from the key that he's holding, and that was surprisingly a lot of work. A lot of. And I wouldn't be surprised if you could still break the game by, pulling the pearl back and forth to him. Pulling him away from the key. But yeah, there was a lot of fiddling for both our animator and one of our programmers to turn on and off the animation and enable and disable animations there. So there's a lot of building blocks behind all of these seemingly simple scenes and setups. Yeah, and so much, so much eventing. All of this is just built around events. Every little move that Louis makes, every patrol, every line, and the timing. We put so much work on like. Again, I'm sorry to all the level designers because I would come a lot over to them and be like, hey, this line, could you perhaps just extend it, the weight on it by just 2 seconds? And then I would be back an hour later, but no, wait, 10 seconds. And, so we would just experiment back and forth to get the right timing and just also make sure that characters weren't talking over each other and just avoid this cacophony of anthropomorphic creatures talking. Yeah. Here we go, the crane. Yeah, and the hot dog painting. Painted by Stina Ram, who's also the concept artist of the main concept artist of the whole game. She really put the essence of the characters, their look and just the feel for the whole game is. Like her soul and Leo Brynjolfsson's is really all over this game. Leo, the 3D artist.
They're all phonies.
Yeah, so now we're back from the harbor, poking the poor beatniks. They were also a lot of fun. I actually got to record a voice for one of those. I can't remember if it's Jim or one of the dudes there who says, "Oh yeah," and or something like that. Not many lines. I would jump in here and there throughout the game, and just when we quickly needed a line or if we just didn't have time to cast anyone, I like acting, and I can have a non-Swedish accent when putting my mind to it and reading a script. I can actually sound like a normal person. Oh, and these basketball hoops, also one of the collectibles that we added to the game. You might think that looks impossible, hitting that basketball hoop over there, but we added a little automatic, if the ball hits a certain hitbox over there, it automatically enters an animation, so it goes through the loop. So if you're still playing and trying to get those basketball hoops, don't give up hope. It's not as impossible as it looks. It is as frustrating as it looks, but there's it's just smoke and mirrors. You can do it. Yeah, and this scene, my favorite scene. I love this scene. And from the moment when I read Sara B Elfgren's script, this scene was already there, and I just, I want to make this game so we can get to this freaking scene with the clouds and Louis being truly happy and relieved for the first time throughout the whole game, and he laughs as the rain comes. It's just such a lot of fun. This is just a very simple but playful scene where you get to just make it rain and ride Louis around on a cloud and just a magical just a magical scene.
The clouds! Yeah!
Yeah, and this scene where the ghost giant has just shrunk to the size of Louis. That was also one thing that was actually Sarah's idea. Yeah, you know, just wanted throughout the game to mirror the ghost giant's physiology or the size of the ghost giant after how Louis is currently feeling. And currently he's feeling very, very sad and hopeless. And that's when the ghost giant shrinks like this. And you've never felt as helpless. And there was, of course, a lot of tweaking, and you know, we were worried that, oh no, what if the player gets sick? But in the end, we decided that it's just such a short moment when the player shrinks to this size, so it's worth it. And getting a little dizzy adds to the shock of this scene, I believe. Yes, you have to. Yeah, you have to throw something at Louis to get his attention. Yeah, we did a lot of. We had to come up with something you could throw at Louis that wasn't mean, throwing at him like a brick or something. So we chose a teddy bear, a soft, nice teddy bear, and put a lot of effort into making it look soft and nice. Yeah, Truffles and Tunes, also a very tricky level and one of the more puzzlier ones next to the harbor. And this house here that you rotate is one of the. It's actually the idea and the concept is from the prototype that we made before for the actual game, where we had just this. Many storied building, which you could raise up and down, remove walls, and just rotate and have fun with. And Katarina Wunder again put a lot of effort into making this one work and feel nice. And
I'm the landlord of this building,
yeah,
and I
this
can't relax because of that bird shrieking. Shrieking? How dare he?
the scene where you have to
Poor Basil. Look at him. He's depressed.
solve this
I can't write when
this
he is
mystery
depressed.
of the missing parrot's hat over there, Basil. Yeah, that's partly what it's all about in this level. Yeah. And Monsieur Bonbon down there trying to sell his candy, having left his fruit trade. Yeah, very tricky to keep props in these houses that you can move and interact with, and avoid having them stuck. a lot of tweaking with collision boxes and also very tricky to light bake, like the lighting in the building, you know, nothing like because of technical restrictions, graphical restrictions, all of the light, you know, barely none of the light is live, everything is baked, which means it's basically, you know, it's all textures, an illusion of real-time light, and yeah, especially indoors, it was very difficult to get it just right, and so lots of waiting and hoping that it looks good when you generate the textures. And yeah, Play It, Maurice, also one of my very, very favorite levels. Also the simplest one, the setup of it, but a lot of work behind the timing, you know, the moon and the stars and the music, all by Christian Damm, also a programmer and level designer of the game. We were like between 5 and 10 people throughout the whole development working on this game. If you exclude you know, localization and actors. But yeah, the core team, we were like 5 to 10 people, to and fro, and yeah, so our programmers had to had to wear one level designer boot on one foot and the programmer's boot on the other, So yeah, this is just beautiful, and much like the cloud rain scene. This is just another relaxing scene in between the more puzzlier ones, and just some time to breathe and to enjoy the show. And of course, I love the acting here and the writing. Everything just comes together so nicely here with Louis finally confiding in Maurice and letting him know, but he just can't fully admit what's really going on. And before he can do that, of course, Monsieur Tulip comes in, the father of Maurice, and interrupts, and you know, he's afraid of the grown-ups taking his mom away for not being able to take care of him. So it's a very heartbreaking scene. My favorite kind of scene is when the heart of a little cat breaks. So throughout the game, we just wanted to create this nice flow of more puzzly, more cheery levels, with more heartfelt. I mean, more serious, and sometimes quiet and quiet scenes like this one, for instance. One of the last levels here, where Louis falls asleep because he's so exhausted trying to make everything, solve all the problems on his own. And the ghost giant is left on their own to once again to try to get Louis out of this mess. And yeah, we just wanted to I wanted to get this just a very quiet scene where you for once get to be alone, well, almost alone, and just fit a little bit with the stuff, contemplate life, and then wake Louis up to face the music. And there's a talking fellow in this well. It's actually a very it's a very niched Easter egg, and it's if you look carefully in the credits, it's the forgotten narrator in the well is the credit of the voice actor Ty Konsak, who's amazing, by the way, actor of many roles in this game and other of our games. And we used to have a narrator in mind for the game. The game would be narrated in the beginning of a level, at the end of a level there would be a narrator, just connecting the player to what's happening, and then just reminding them, like waking the player up, but we ended up wanting to try to connect Louis to the ghost giant more, instead of trying to create this extra external element that ties you with the world. Just directly connect Louis to the ghost giant to Louis more. So we felt like that would be a bit of a cop out, and we just wanted to challenge ourselves to make the player really engaged into Louis' story instead. And so we put the narrator in the well, and there he lives. But without spoiling too much, he may be back. I'll leave it at that. And yeah, so that's it for this time, I think, folks. Thank you, Perp Games, for having me. And this is my first audio commentary. Feels so cool. I hope it turned out okay. Sorry about the pizza break and my clogged nose and my Swedish accent. And check out the podcast episode that Perp Games are having with us soon, if you haven't heard it already. It's with me and Sara B Elfgren, the writer of Ghost Giant, is visiting, and we're gonna just delve deeper into the world of Ghost Giant. And so thank you again, take care, and remember, if you feel bad, if you are in pain, lonely, sad, any kind of pain, don't keep it to yourself. Call someone, and whenever you feel you can't do that, try to zoom out and become your own ghost giant. Or buy yourself a pizza. What do I know? Take care.